What is going on, YouTube people? Northeast Ohio Sports Cards here for a mail day video. That's right. It has been a while. This is going to be a comic book mail day because it is Marvel Mondays. I have made a decent amount of pickups the last few weeks, really. I've showed some of these off on live streams, but I haven't done like a formal, like, hey, here's what I picked up. So just a quick little mail day video today. Kind of hitting three primary categories. There are some what I would consider like, I don't know, investment feels like too strong of a term, but more things that I think have upside. There's like three of those. There's two PC items, and then one, which I don't do this very often, kind of modern spec play. So before we get into it, like, comment, subscribe, all the YouTube nonsense down below, eBay affiliate link, all the jazz. But with all that being said, let's go ahead and dive in, and maybe we'll actually keep this one quick. So we will start with the three upside books, if you will. Kind of lower census ish, older classic covers. I've been getting a lot of questions lately. Hey, what are you targeting comic book market wise? And my general answer to that is classic cover X-Men stuff. And that is very specific what these three books are. All three are classic X-Men stuff. All three are also classic Wolverine covers on top of it. So, first up to bat, we have Uncanny X-Men 207 in a CGC 9.8. Try to get this not to fall. Sorry, I got a little different setup than normal to record comic book stuff. Classic cover, John Romita Jr. No other key beyond that. There's no real first appearance or anything like that in this book, but we do get the classic Wolverine cover, one of my favorite X-Men covers, one of my favorite Wolverine covers. I picked this up for a little over 200 bucks. And that's going to be the general theme here as well. Most of the stuff that I've picked up recently is sub $300. So it's low risk. This book could never go up a penny, and I would be perfectly fine just displaying this. But I think this classic X-Men cover stuff, minor keys, whatever, still has a lot of room for it. I think it's going to chill out for a little bit. But as soon as they start announcing X-Men stuff, I think all this stuff's going to go nuts. And that could be years from now. So this is not like I'm going to flip this in 3 months type play. So that's what we have there. First one off the rip, Uncanny X-Men 207. Coming in right behind it, Uncanny X-Men 211. I know Personal Finance Dad recently picked one of these up not too long ago as well. Always love the cover. So this one, you got kind of two things going for it. Really good John Romita Jr. cover, and also first appearance of Marauders. So minor villain key plus the cool cover. Once again, I got this for about 235. I think I paid for this 230, 235, somewhere right in that range. So not super expensive. It could never go up a penny. Once again, it would be perfectly fine displaying this as just a display piece. But I do think it actually has potential to move up. It's never going to be like multiple thousands or anything like that. But I could easily see this going up a couple $100 over time, but not like a quick flip play or anything like that. Once again, that's not really the reason why I bought it. Number 3 on the list, and the final of the 80s, 90s books before we hop into more modern stuff. And that is one of my favorite covers, like legit one of my favorite covers. Uncanny X-Men 213. Don't fall. First cover appearance of Wolverine and Sabretooth fighting. So you have that going for it. Absolutely classic cover, in my opinion. I have always liked this cover. Just great looking. Once again, this one was a little over 300. I think I got it for 3-ish. This book has recently gotten hot lately just because of what I mentioned, the classic Wolverine cover going for it. It's semi low pop. There's probably a lot of them out there. This book has a couple other little side things going for it besides the fact that it's first appearance of Marauders. It's where Psylocke joins the X-Men officially, and also a brief cameo appearance of Mr. Sinister. It's not considered his first appearance, but he does cameo in here. He's a little shadow in the background. But classic cover plus a few little side things going for it. I think this one actually has a lot of potential as well. Why I bought it, but also would be the centerpiece of any X-Men display, in my opinion, or especially any Wolverine display. Absolutely adore this cover. All right, let's get into the more modern spec play. I try to stay away from this too much, but one of the things that made me buy this was I actually just started reading it. I was intrigued by it as a potential buy. And then I started reading it on Marvel Unlimited, and I really enjoyed the series so far. I'm about 6 or 7 issues in. And that is Strange Academy #1. Not an expensive book. I think I got this for right around $300. It was going for a little bit more. It's actually come down recently. I don't know what it's going for now. I paid slightly over 300. This is probably the one I've had the longest. I've probably been sitting on this for about 3.5 weeks now since it came in. Essentially, what this is: Harry Potter in the Marvel Universe. Doctor Strange is the professor, along with the other cast of characters from the Marvel Universe, and a bunch of people's kids, basically high powered kids, go to the Strange Academy for school. If that does not sound like the perfect Disney Plus show, I don't know what else does. There has been a lot of rumor, hype, whatever about this potentially getting turned into a Disney Plus show. I think that would be quite a ways away, but I just really like the series. I've been eyeing this up as a potential. There's a ton of variant covers out there for this one, including a really nice 1 to 25, but that one's pretty pricey. So I just grabbed one of these for 300 or slightly over 300. And like I said, this one was creeping down a little bit. This book came out last year, so there's only like 12 or 1300 on the census right now, but I have to imagine that that number goes up. Because this came out right as the pandemic was setting in. So I'm sure this is one where I do believe that there are probably a bunch sitting at CGC. So more of these were hitting the market. I don't see this one going absolutely crazy anytime soon because of the increased supply coming onto the market from CGC returns. But I am intrigued by it as a longer term hold. I can absolutely see the MCU eventually going this direction with a Disney Plus show. I would not be surprised by that at all. And then the last two are both modern variant covers, which I hate from an investing standpoint in regards to putting money into the comic book market. But I am a huge fan of Spider-Gwen. Loved her in Into the Spider-Verse, one of my favorite characters. Have a bunch of her stuff laying around, and I am a sucker for variant covers for Spider-Gwen. So the last two that I picked up are Spider-Gwen variant covers. Once again, I do not think that these are investment pieces. These are just cool display pieces to eventually one day put up when I get a legit office. First up, and they're both from the same series. Both just came out earlier this year, and it is the Gwenom versus Carnage King in Black miniseries. The first one is I forget where, Big Time Collectibles variant cover. Spider Gwen and Peach Momoko, the Virgin variant. Just love the way that this cover looks. Love the Peach style artwork. Um, I almost went with the trade dress. Sometimes I prefer the trade dress, but this one just looked really good in the Virgin variant. So pick this up. Once again, just really like the cover. And I really like Peach artwork. I wish I would have bought some Marvel anime boxes to rip, but those have gotten pretty pricey now. And then the last one might be one of the best covers I have ever seen. This one's ridiculous. Once again, Spider-Man King in Black. Gwenom versus Carnage. This is number 1, and it's the Lee 1 in 25 variant. This just came in yesterday. I have been eyeing one of these up since I first saw it. I don't know that this one's like investable level. They were going for 400. They've already come down to sub 200 or right around 200. I paid 200 even for this. The Peach Momoko I got for $100. I bought it straight from their website. It's not hard to find. This one I have a feeling is going to be lower census in a 9.8. Once again, some of that's artificial because it's a 1 in 25 variant. I hate all that nonsense, but I could not resist this cover. Also, I do think this is going to be a little bit of a tough grade. Anytime you have all that black on there like that does make it a lot trickier for grading purposes. So, had to pick this one up. Absolutely fantastic cover as well. I know I keep saying that, but this one is gorgeous. Looks even better in person. There is a Mary Jane is Carnage kind of twin variant to this one. It's not 1 to 25. It could be picked up relatively cheap. I think they go for like 50 or 60 bucks. I'll probably look to pick one of those up at some point in time just to pair them together. But this was primarily the one that I want. This is probably the best Gwenom cover in existence, and I have the first appearance of Spider-Gwen as Gwenom in a CGC 9.8. Not a great cover at all. Those go for a couple $100. I haven't checked prices on that in forever, but I picked one of those up last year. So that's the last one. So 2 for the PC, 1 spec play, and 3 what I would deem as more investy level sides of things with the 3 X-Men books. So that's all I got for you guys and girls today. And where I'm at right now with the comic book market is I am still looking for very specific things. A lot of them are more high dollar now. There are still some lower cost things that I have my eyes on. The problem, not the problem. The problem is that the sports card market is dipping hard right now. And I am holding cash back to potentially buy some bigger cards that I normally would not be able to afford because their prices have come down that much on stuff. And also keeping an eye on some comic book. I'm very torn right now between what to go after. Like a LeBron Topps Chrome PSA 9 is starting to get into very reasonable range. Would I rather have that or would I rather have a Hulk 181 or a giant size X-Men one, like in a mid grade, like say 4 to 6, depending on the price? Very, very tricky. Very, very tricky. I meant to do, and I'm going to push this off till next week. I want to kind of do a market recap of a lot of the comic book stuff. It seems like at least Spider-Man stuff is cooling off a little bit now that we're post trailer. 361 has come down a little bit. Looks like ASM 300 has come down a little bit from the 8K highs that it was at. I think the last one that I saw sold for about 6,800, which is still really good. But some stuff does seem to be doing its thing where it spikes up, pulls back a little bit, and then starts to level off. I'm not going to say the entire comic book market's cooling off because that's not the case. There's tons of X-Men stuff still going crazy. X-Men 101 has been going nuts. X-Men 129 has been going nuts. All those, 70s to 80s X-Men keys have been going absolutely crazy. And, the older stuff always goes nuts. But I haven't really dug into like giant size X-Men and Hulk 181 to kind of see how their prices are falling. So I'm going to kind of put together a list of things that I'm keeping an eye on to kind of like measure the overall health of the market from a macro level. So I just need to dig in and do the research for it. And I've been meaning to do this mail day. So I wanted to knock this out first, and then we'll put that off until next week, most likely. This past week leading up to this was extremely busy. Tons of sports card shenanigans going on. And then I was out of town for a day for a big trade night at Card Collector 2 shop. So let's wrap this puppy up. Like, comment, subscribe, all the YouTube nonsense down below. We will catch you guys and girls on the next one. Peace.